and welcome to another remote edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. On today's program, we will chat with the director of the Quincy Animal Shelter. Kit Burke will be our guest. We'll find out how they're coping during the pandemic. First, though, we check out the news for you. With a recent spike in coronavirus cases here in Quincy, Mayor Thomas Koch is urging people to be more vigilant about the disease. In a recent update, Koch especially urged restaurant workers to abide by the mask mandate.
The health department has pointed out to me and asked me to remind particularly our restaurants is that we need to follow the guidelines. Anybody working in a restaurant should have a mask on. People that are going into a restaurant, the rule is you wear your mask. When you sit down at the table, you can then obviously take the mask off. But workers should be wearing those masks. So we've had a number of complaints, and we've actually working with Tim Cahill from the Chamber of Commerce in individual establishments to please, as a reminder, to follow the guidelines. This is very, very important.
Last week, 3 Quincy public school employees tested positive for COVID-19 while teaching a special education class at North Quincy High School and the Della Chiesa Early Childhood Center. There are currently 30 active cases of the virus in Quincy. There have been 1,325 confirmed cases in the city since the pandemic began. There have been 1,109 recoveries, and the death toll stands at 134. A man in a motorized wheelchair was struck and killed by an alleged drunk driver in Quincy on Saturday night. Police say the 73-year-old Quincy man was hit in the crosswalk at Quincy Avenue and Falls Boulevard at about 8 p.m. He died a short time later at a local hospital. The driver, 78-year-old David Bowering of Quincy, is facing his 6th drunk driving charge after 5 previous convictions for drunk driving. Bowering is also charged with motor vehicle homicide. Quincy parents are being surveyed about how they feel about sending their kids back to school in the fall. A survey on the Quincy Public Schools website is asking how parents feel about students in the classrooms, learning online, or a combination of both. The state has told public school systems to create a plan for all 3 scenarios and present those plans in August. Here in Quincy, parents will be surveyed now and then again before the start of school on September 9th. However, parents will not be bound by their responses to those surveys. The controversial mascot for North Quincy High School may be undergoing a transformation soon. In the wake of the social unrest following the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, there have been renewed calls to change the Yaku, which some say depicts Native Americans in a negative light. Dr. Alan Yakubian, who designed the original Yaku many years ago, is said to be helping out with the redesign, which may depict Yaku as a pirate or some other figure. In addition, the Red Raiders sports team's name may be changed to Raiders. A redesigned mascot may be presented to students and to the public for review soon. Going to be a very busy election season in Massachusetts this year. Quincy City Clerk Nicole Crispo says there will be mail-in ballots, early voting, and absentee ballots in addition to in-person voting.
That people do want to still work. We're going to take every precaution and probably more at the polling locations. But I think the big story in the headline is the mail-in.
Yes. Yeah.
And so today's the deadline for those applications to be in the mail. I don't know if they're going in the mail today because it's not funded. But at some point, you know, I know they are on Secretary of the Commonwealth's website, and you can go on there and you can fill out the application and send it to us. We'll be happy to take it, and as soon as we get the ballots in, we're going to start mailing them out.
Okay.
So there'll also be another layer, which will be the in-person early voting, which we have not had yet for a primary.
Right.
So that will, for the September 1st election, I just want to state that the election is September 1st. You know, usually we have the election after Labor Day.
Right.
This year, it's going to be before. So people are going to have to get used to that too.
Yeah.
But
Well, there's no place to come back from mostly, so people probably.
right. So everybody is home.
Yeah.
So we are going to do Saturday and Sunday, 8:22 and 8:23 for early voting.
Okay.
And we are going to do Monday through Friday, 8:24 to 8:28. So location has not yet been verified.
Oh, okay.
So we're working on the logistics of that right now. And as soon as I get it, I'll, let you know. And I'll put it in the Quincy Sun, and we'll put it on the Quincy website, and, get it out to as many people as we can in the Ledger and in all the publications, so that everybody is informed. We will do the same thing in November as well.
Okay.
And that is a more extensive time of that people will be able to early vote. That's going to be 2 weeks, both weekends. So we'll be busy.
Yeah.
But we want to give everybody an opportunity to go out and vote or stay home and vote as safe as they can.
Crispo says complete details and applications for a mail-in ballot are available on the city website and on the website for the Secretary of State's office. Reminder for you that buses will be replacing MBTA Red Line trains between Braintree and Quincy Center beginning today through July 30th for track replacement project. The buses will run from 8:45 p.m. through the end of service. Coming up, we check in with Kit Burke of the Quincy Animal Shelter next.
Will certainly be a memorable one, for better or worse. While it seems the COVID-19 pandemic has brought the world to a standstill, life does go on. Whether you're working from home, trying to buy groceries, or keeping the kids entertained, life in Quincy continues, just in a different fashion. As life continues, it needs to be documented. In order to document and preserve life during the pandemic, the City of Quincy, the Thomas Crane Public Library, Quincy 400, and Quincy Access Television have partnered to form Quincy COVID Memories, a project to gather, document, and share stories and experiences of people living everyday life during the pandemic. We're asking you to share stories, photos, videos, and more that best represent your experiences during this unprecedented time. Your submission can be simple, but say a lot. Like this photo of a husband, a frontline worker, leaving for work at 5:30 a.m. Asked if he might step back during the time, he rejected the idea and said, someone's got to do it. Or this photo of a family out for a walk, just with added protection of face masks. Or this video of a family celebrating the 89th birthday of a loved one. These submissions tell the story of life during the pandemic. Help add to the story with your daily life. Visit www.quincyculturalmemory.com to submit your story today.
We're checking in with Kit Burke, director of the Quincy Animal Shelter, to find out how the shelter's coping during the pandemic. And Kit, nice to see you, even if it has to be virtually again.
Nice to see you too. Appreciate you having us as always.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Anything we can do to help get the word out about the shelter. Last time we had chatted, I know that it had to stop doing adoptions for obvious reasons. What's the current situation?
Well, we had to make a lot of changes back in March. We went from 2 volunteer shifts a day to 1. We weren't doing adoptions. And over the last probably 60 days, we've been able to slowly ease up on some of that. The city has okayed us to reopen, but it's by appointment only. So we're not at the point yet where the door is just going to be open and people can come in. But my adoption team has actually done a great job. We've had a lot of animals. Well, it's been cats mostly. Get adopted out. They've got a system where you view our animals on our website. Reach out if you're interested, and then they walk you through the process. And we've been able to, place quite a few. The dogs that we had, I think we had about 5 of them in foster homes. They pretty much were all adopted by their fosters. So
They float fostering, as they say, right?
it's called foster failure, yes, but it's a win for the animals. So we're happy about that.
Yeah.
We just this week started back with a very skeleton type crew, but in the evenings, because we didn't want dogs back in the building until there were 2 shifts, to make sure they can get out and whatnot. So slowly, we're moving forward, but still everything is by appointment. And best thing to do if you're interested is to check out our website, QuincyAnimalShelter.org, and see if there's anyone that might be a match for you.
Yep. Do you have specified hours for making appointments?
Not at this time. We are trying to mirror as much normalcy with what we have done in the past, but because there are people that are still not working and whatnot, that if it's off hours and our adoption team can, coordinate with it, then that's fine with us. We're targeting in terms of moving towards normalcy Saturdays from 10 to 4, but again, it's by appointment. And I know that's frustrating for some folks, but it beats the alternative of not being able to find homes for our animals. So.
Sure. Yeah. Have you been able to do any, intakes, if you will, folks turning over animals to you?
Well, yes.
Okay.
We have relaxed that a little bit. I mean, always since this started in an emergency, we would make something happen.
Right.
But we've been able to relax that a little bit. Surrenders were always by appointment for us, so that's not really so much of a change, just, ensuring that folks know they need to have a mask, and we have things available here if they forget. So we have been taking in some animals. So.
Okay. I know last time we talked to, you were worried about folks who may be, forced to give up their animals because of economic reasons due to the pandemic. Have you seen that happen?
No more than usual.
Okay.
I mean, that is something that has always been a cause.
Yeah.
I think it's still a little early. I would expect that if, as a result of the pandemic, that happens, it'll be a little closer towards fall.
Okay.
But for the sake of the folks and their pets, I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope that they, find a way to keep them. But
yep.
We do have I'll share a quick little story with you.
Absolutely.
This was probably 2 months ago. We received a call from a Quincy resident, a woman that had been taking care of a stray cat. Maybe for a month or 2, cat would show up. She was feeding it on her porch. And she was concerned it was a pregnant female. So she reached out to us. Anyway, we were able to get the cat in here. Once we had the cat vetted, we discovered that not only was this cat not a pregnant female, but in fact a neutered male.
Oh.
And the cat, it turned out, had a microchip, and we were able to reunite the owner and the cat. The cat had been missing since last August.
Wow.
Yep. Like 10 months.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's always terrific. And it was, this whole story about moving and the cat was someplace else and got out. But the point was, the woman just called me this morning, which is what makes me think of it, to tell me that he's reacclimated and everything's going great and whatnot. So,
Well, that's a great story. Was it local? Was the cat local?
Quincy.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
it was Quincy. And let's hear it for microchips. People register them, because we can't get too far if you haven't registered.
Yeah,
But I love a story like that.
that is a great story. Yeah, was he far from home, or was it around the corner? Or
Well, he was far from home. He was not far from where he was lost.
oh, okay.
I think it was like folks were moving, so he was staying someplace else for a weekend and
Yep.
got out that place. So
Okay.
it was Quincy Point, went missing, and really lived up Wollaston Way.
Oh, all right. So the other side of the city, pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a great story. Wonderful.
So he's gone
Everybody
home.
feels good when something like that happens, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime. And it's so good for the volunteers. They invest so much into the animals emotionally, financially. They do all kinds of things to help. And
Yeah.
that kind of a story is just heartwarming.
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
It's great for everybody.
So I know because of the pandemic, the shelter has not been able to hold, the traditional fundraisers that they do throughout the year. How are you coping financially?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a stressor to not be able to be assured of event income.
Yeah.
Some people, having said that, though, there have been some really generous people, and a lot of our supporters, if they normally gave one amount monthly, then some of that has been bumped up to help us out, which we really appreciate.
Yeah.
We still have, going through the end of the year, our 20 for 20 event. It's through Facebook. People can donate $20 for our 20th anniversary. They're welcome also to include an animal, a picture of a pet. Hopefully it will become part of a mosaic in our new building. So
Yes. Yeah.
but people have been sending us items off of our wish list. We have a wish list on Amazon. We have a wish list on our website, our webpage. And, people, they just really are terrific. They just do, no one person has to do it all, and I just love that, people haven't forgotten us, even though they haven't seen us as much. So
Yeah, that's great to hear because, we hear so much, rightfully so, we hear so much about the first responders, and the medical workers on the front lines, but we don't hear a lot about, the people behind the scenes, the volunteers that are taking care of the animals, and the work that still needs to happen.
Well, you're right. And I mean, the volunteers, I can't say enough about them.
Yeah.
We were very limited in the number of people that we allowed back in initially. They were certainly committed, but other folks were more than willing to come in and have offered to do things that they might not normally do, like transport an animal from here to a veterinarian.
Okay.
Stuff like that needs to be done. All needs to be done. So they've been terrific.
Yeah. What are some of those key items on the wish list, Kit, just to let folks know about?
Well, we absolutely always can use paper towels, and I know that things are just starting to get back into stock in a lot of the stores, but I mean, what we've tried to say to people is if you can spare one roll, we don't expect that someone's going to bring us a whole case necessarily. It's still not as readily available. And so that's always paper towels and bleach. Any kind of cat food. Dog food, we don't really need. The city takes care of that and whatnot. But cats, because in addition to our own residents, we use donations for the feral cats.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of great folks in the city of Quincy that are way below the radar that every day feed these animals, and so we try to help out by giving them the food so they don't have to buy it.
Okay, good to know. And
Yeah.
do they drop it off outside the door, or how would they
They
how would they?
can.
Okay.
Yep, they can drop it out inside the door. Also, if you're looking at the front of our building, on the far left, there's actually an enclosed area that, just so it doesn't get rained on.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if we're here, be happy to take it, from people. But right now, we're not taking as much in the way of bedding. It's a little labor intense because of the pandemic. We have to then, rewash everything, even though folks have already done that. So,
Sure. Yep.
but we will probably need that down the road.
Okay. All right. You'd mentioned the new building. I know, in speaking with the mayor, he told me that the new dog park is just about complete. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. I've seen the road, quite a winding road. They did a really nice job of not making it be too steep.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always the plan. I know some people I've seen in different social formats online have questioned, why was the dog park built first, not the shelter? It was actually, it's not part of the same project. It's two separate projects in the city. I know they got some funding for the dog park. That's really something to benefit the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the scheme of things, it was a lot easier to build a dog park than a brand new shelter. So, in terms of time and monies and all that. But they keep saying they're going to take this building for the new public safety complex. So we need a place to go.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then the mayor's well aware of that. He's, mentioned it to me, and he seems pretty proud about the dog park itself, the first one in the city up off Quarry Streets. So I'm curious to see it myself.
Yeah, I should take a hop up there. It would just, unfortunately, opening a dog park coinciding with the pandemic was not the best fit, when they were trying to have people social distance and not gather in groups.
Right.
But, maybe instead of doing a big grand opening, maybe people will just slowly start to find out. I don't know.
It's kind of a soft opening, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Good way
Yeah.
to put it.
I noticed you're wearing a Quincy Animal Shelter T-shirt there with your new logo on it, and those are for sale, right?
Yes, I am, and it's about what I wear every day to work. But yes, we still have our T-shirts and hoodies. They're $15 for the T-shirts. This one is our anniversary shirt, so on the back it says celebrating 20 years. Sales have been really slow because we're not open.
Right.
And certainly if people were, interested, they could even inquire by email or by phone and see if we can make something happen for them.
Okay. Good. And do you guys participate in the Amazon Smile program, Kit?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, that's one of the best ways that people can donate because they're shopping already.
That's right.
And it's once you set it up with Amazon, if you're familiar with it, it's really easy to get set up. And then after that, it's just all automatic. You don't have to do anything else. And the program itself, they've given millions to organizations across the country. But I think it's every quarter, we get a little check, nice little check, and it's found money.
Yes,
So
right.
we're happy, to have a program like that.
Yep, it's great. And it doesn't cost, anybody anything if you're shopping anyway. It's something that Amazon is doing for nonprofits, so it's great.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we'd like to remind folks about right now?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I appreciate so much, though, with you keeping in touch with us and seeing what's going on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We hope to do it in person again at some point, but in the meantime, we'll keep this up, certainly. And don't hesitate. Reach out here at QATV if we can help get the word out for you.
Appreciate it so much.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good to see you.
You too. Be well, Kit.
Bye-bye.
Special thanks to Kit Burke from the Quincy Animal Shelter for joining us today. Thanks to our crew working remotely from home. Thank you for watching. And a reminder to please participate in the Quincy COVID Memories Project. Quincy Access Television, the City, Quincy 400, and the Thomas Crane Public Library have all teamed up to collect videos, photos, art, essays, or any other experiences of life in Quincy during the pandemic. Go to quincyculturalmemory.com to send your submissions, or you can send them by mail to the Thomas Crane Public Library at 40 Washington Street, Quincy, 02169. And don't forget to check out our newly redesigned website at qatv.org. You will find news and information, all of our latest programs, video on demand, online classes, and live streaming. For all of us here at Quincy Access Television, I'm Joe Catalano. Please stay safe.